Hi, I'm Jody Underhill, recognized national sales trainer for local online marketing. I'm here today with Shanda Escoto with IT Mentor Apps. And one of the things we want to do is, if you're watching this video, it's because you've decided to partner with IT Mentor Apps in going out and selling business apps to local businesses. What we want to do with this video is help you understand exactly how to go about doing this business the right way, how to find people, how to find businesses that are in need of mobile apps, and also how to go about making it so that you're able to close the deal and make that, and also make an increased income for yourself. So Shanda, I know that whenever you started this business not long ago, whenever you first went out, what was one of the things that you found was the reason that businesses need mobile apps?
Well, the biggest reason I've seen that people need mobile apps or businesses need mobile apps is to really increase the customer loyalty and customer retention. It's a lot cheaper, much more cost effective to keep the customers you have than to go out and search for new ones all the time. So a mobile app is a perfect tool for increasing customer loyalty.
You know, I know one of the things that we discussed is a lot of times, if you're watching this, a lot of people that decide that they want to work with IT Mentor Apps is that they already know someone. They have someone in mind that possibly could utilize an app, and that's what we call the warm market. And if you have a warm market, what would you say about how would they go about approaching them and looking at helping them understand the value of a mobile app?
Well, a warm market, a lot of times people who come to us, they might know one business owner, maybe they know 6 business owners, and they think it's a perfect fit for a mobile app. So one of the things that we've done for any of our sales reps, we'll make them a demo app, and it can be for that business or it could be for a competitor, but it's a great tool to walk in and say, you know, look what I made for you, or look what I made for your competition, or you know, look what I made in general, and show them the features and the navigation of that demo app. And it's a great foot in the door, whether you have an appointment with them or if you just walk in and say hello.
So you're going to your team is going to make that demo app for the salesperson to be able to go and share that.
Right, we will make one for every single salesperson.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I know, because I work with a lot of people that are in the mobile app space, and actually we were together at a conference where someone on stage was talking about this very thing, where having a demo app, a lot of times it doesn't necessarily have to be for that business. It sometimes can actually be better if it's for a competitor.
Right? In my experience, it's actually more powerful if you go in with their competitor's app.
Right, because one of the reasons behind that is it's called the Me Too syndrome. If they see a competitor who has an app, they want to keep up with the times. If my competitor has it, it's that validation that they see that, you know, if they have it, then I need to have that as well. So a lot of times it's really better to show the competition. And the person that we know that's in a business in New York, and he doesn't actually want an app that's for the business. He really enjoys showing the competitor's app and actually has a greater success with that.
Right.
Now that doesn't mean that the person that's in your warm market won't see the benefit, but whenever it comes to going to people that you don't know, a lot of times having a demo that's of a competitor will work better for you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the same industry. It can actually, the demo app is just the ability to show the value whenever it comes to utilizing an app.
Absolutely.
So if you're looking at selling mobile apps and you're partnered with IT Mentor Apps, and you have the warm market, usually have 2 or 3 or 4 people or businesses that you may know of, but eventually you're going to have to probably talk to someone that you may not know.
Correct.
Right. So one of the things that we want to do is give you some tools that you can utilize for approaching people that you don't know. Now, one of the things that I know very well and I've been very successful with, and I know Shanda has as well, is utilizing the ability to get in front of business owners through connections they have in the community. And one of the ways of doing that, it may seem a little old school for some of you watching this video, but it's actually the Chamber of Commerce. It's actually going to the Chamber of Commerce and asking them, letting them know that you're in the business of selling mobile apps and how can they help you get in front of business owners. Because in your experience, would you say that business owners are the decision makers when it comes to purchasing a mobile app?
Yes, definitely.
So when you say, how can you help me get in front of business owners, they will probably invite you to a networking event. And most chambers have networking events where they have them either after hours or they have breakfast events, and they'll invite you to come to a networking event and then they'll actually have people introduce you to business owners, and that's one great way. You don't need to run out and join every chamber, just use this technique. It took me a long time to figure this out. but it really works like a charm. Now, whenever you may decide that you do want to join a chamber, the continued networking is going to be one of the tools that you're going to be able to find that's going to help you actually turn this into a business that you can have a sustainable income from. So networking is one of the best ways I know in order to do that, because once you have built a couple of apps or you've gone and talked to a few people, the chances of them sharing that with other people really increases dramatically.
Right. We've had some great success with networking with other people.
And so doing that. Now, the other thing, whenever it comes to growing your business from a cold market, I know whenever you first got started with this, you actually just went out and took the bull by the horns, and you actually went to a few restaurants and just walked in the door cold.
Right.
But you walked in the door cold, but you did a few things that I found really intriguing. You actually warmed up to someone at the restaurant, and they actually then brought the manager over to talk to you, right?
Right. We actually, my business partner Daniel and I walked up to the bar at a restaurant because it's casual and you're sitting right at the counter interacting with someone who works at the business. And we ordered something to drink, we ordered a snack, and just started chatting with them. And there again, we showed him what we had, and he really liked it. He was very, very impressed with it, and within just a few minutes said, I want my manager to see this. So we already had our foot in the door just by that introduction. And you know what? It was fun. We had fun with it. We were just there to have a little snack, and we had a lot of fun with it too.
Right. I mean, the thing with this is, it's mobile apps. They're cool.
They're
you should be able to have fun
everyone
with
wants
this.
fun. They're fun. They're cool.
Right. And whenever you're able to do that, it really just it engages them at a whole nother level.
Right.
Now, if you're looking at this, you're a salesperson. They've just partnered with IT Mentor Apps, and we've talked about the chamber. If you were to, and you have the demo app, so they have something they can show them. Obviously,
Right.
It's very important that you have either a smartphone or a tablet to be able to show that and to demo it.
If you're going to meet with someone in person, you really need to have a smartphone so you can show them a demo on their phone.
Right. So when it comes to networking, the other thing that I know that you have available for anyone who's watching this video is you actually have a presentation.
We actually have a few presentations.
Right.
Yeah.
And how would they utilize those presentations?
We have a number of presentations available. My favorite one is called the Sally presentation, and they're all four of them. I think there's 4 right now. It's growing all the time. Our PowerPoint presentations, you can customize them with your name, your email, your contact information, and if you want to add extra slides or delete them to make them, your own,
Right.
own them. Definitely do that. But the Sally presentation is really easy. It's actually a little bit entertaining, so it's not just information you're showing them. And it really conveys the power of a mobile app and how user-friendly it is and how much people really enjoy using the mobile apps.
Right. Now, along with that, I mean, you can utilize that presentation and show it to a business owner, show it to a restaurant owner. The other thing that I coach people on a national level when it comes to online marketing, and what we found with the Sally presentation that she was talking about, we've actually had people do that presentation for groups. We had one person who did a presentation and sold 4 apps in one presentation.
Yeah.
They had like 30 people in the room, and they did the presentation, and they had someone else that did that presentation at a Chamber of Commerce. They only had like 15 people in the room, but they wound up selling 18 mobile apps.
Isn't that amazing?
Because it blew me away. I was like, and this person is not the best presenter. And they're a little rough actually in sharing with people about that, but they're passionate about it.
Right.
Because one of the things that I would think is very important when it comes to selling mobile apps is understanding them. And the cool thing about the Sally app, or Sally presentation rather, is that if you're brand new at this and you don't quite know exactly what the key points, the Sally presentation, if you go through it, it actually helps you understand how people use mobile apps and the benefits of that for certain businesses. So with that in mind, I know there's a list of different businesses that are really beneficial. So for someone who is going into the business of selling mobile apps, what would you say were the top 3 industries that would actually benefit from that how would they benefit? And I'm going to fill that in with a few other ones that would possibly also benefit from utilizing that, because the thing is that it's a wide open market.
It is.
It's really cutting edge. I mean, if you were ever wish that you had been able to be involved before the .com, before the internet, this is a way for you to actually be involved with something that's really brand new and cutting edge. So with that, what would you say are the top 3 that anyone watching this video should actually go after right now?
Well, before I list just 3 industries specifically, any industry that is really counting on having repeat business, if it's an industry that would love to see their clients more than once a week, that's your target market. And the first thing that comes to mind is restaurants. I know my favorite restaurants I'll go to once, twice, 3 times a week even. Bars and nightclubs are phenomenal. Spas, any kind of beauty services are really, really appropriate for mobile apps as well.
So let's look at, because restaurants is kind of obvious. I mean, one of the things, if you're watching this, you probably understand the aspect of push notifications. That's where a restaurant owner, if they have a special, they can type that in to the back office. They can push a button and send that out to anyone who's downloaded the app, so they can bring them in. Another thing that I found really intriguing was the loyalty aspect. I mean, so you can, this is so cool, you can actually do a coupon on the person's smartphone, and if the number of times they've visited, they can actually track that and give them a reward for the number of times they've come in.
It functions just like the old-fashioned punch cards. You know, after your 12th cup of coffee, you get a cup free.
Right.
The same thing, but you don't have to carry around a card. It's on your phone, and their branding's right there on your phone. So it works really conveniently for loyalty.
And also, it only works within a certain proximity or something like that?
There's a couple different ways of setting up the loyalty program, so it depends on what the business's needs are, because we can certainly customize it to what their needs are.
Right, that's awesome. Now, I'm gonna tell a personal story here, if that's okay, when it comes to apps.
It should be fun.
Yeah, it's actually, I have 2 stepdaughters who go to private school, and one of the things that really made me think of this is I know the president of the school, and I actually did some videos for him for some online marketing, and they actually issue iPads to their students, so they use that instead of textbooks. And it was a perfect fit to build an app for them so that they could send a notification to the students.
Right.
And then he's like, well, that's great for the students, but we want to be able to communicate with the parents. So the same thing happened. So building one for a private school, and it's not just the push notifications, that's great. I mean, you can communicate with them, but the calendar of events. Now, if you have children who are in school, has there ever been a time that you sent your kid off to school that didn't have exactly what they needed for the thing they were doing that day? Having that calendar, and also, I mean, sports teams.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, having that calendar of when things are going to happen. I mean, my 16-year-old is on a volleyball team, and it's hard for me to keep track. If they didn't have an app, it would be hard for me to keep track of exactly when their games were and where they were going to be. So, I mean, that's one of those things that a lot of people may not think about, but when you think about it, it's not a consumption-based business, but it is a communication business of being able to stay up on what's happening. And in the same vein with private schools, there's also daycare centers that can utilize it the same way.
Absolutely.
You know, if you send little Johnny off with it's sprinkler day at the daycare, if you don't send a bathing suit with him, you look like a jerk because you didn't make it so that he could enjoy the day, or she.
Yeah. Even as simple as knowing what the lunch schedule is, what they're having for lunch. Even as simple as that, to have your child's lunch schedule on your phone, updated to the minute all the time, is very powerful. Exactly.
Now, some other things that we've thought about where they're consumption based, it's repeat customers and consumption. Another one is, and this is my favorite because we talk a lot about follow-up marketing, and a mobile app is really the ultimate follow-up marketing tool.
Yes, absolutely.
And I mean, one of the things that we all probably take for granted, and this is a really low-hanging fruit that a lot of people think of going out to the restaurants and doing those kind of things in the spas, and is auto repair or like oil change centers. I mean, they try to do follow-up marketing because they have that little sticker that goes up in your windshield to tell you, hey, this is when you need to change your oil. But what did you say happens to yours?
Mine dries up, falls off, and it gets vacuumed up.
And so you have no clue when you're supposed to do that.
Horrible at auto maintenance.
Right. So if that was to happen and you got a push notification, let's say on Wednesday is Ladies' Day, $10 off oil change.
Yeah, it would definitely prompt me to return and take care of my car.
Right. So those are some of the industries that can really utilize mobile apps. I mean, and some of the other things is like local bands. They can use it because, I mean, I know Previously, whenever I had someone that would they followed a band, and you'd have to go every time they were in town. You had to go to wherever they were at. And if they had an app that they could send a notification out, hey, we're going to be, or even a calendar, or where they were going to be, just the calendar. Right. They could increase that. I mean, and there's also obviously the ability to buy their songs on iTunes.
Say, yeah, they can buy right off iTunes from the app.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have those, and then whenever it comes to restaurants, they can actually, let's go back a moment. One of the cool things with restaurants is they can do a lot of different things with mobile apps.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And one of the things that you informed me about that I didn't realize was the reservation thing. Mm-hmm. Right, and there's also, you can order.
Yeah, you can make reservations right on the app. You can order food right off the app. That way, if it's lunchtime and there's a big long line, you can get to the restaurant and your food's ready to go, ordered, paid for, right on the app.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that I want to do now is I want to kind of shift gears a little bit. That's some of the industries. I want to make sure that the people watching this video have some real tools that they can utilize when they go out, when you start to sell these apps. Mm-hmm. And one of the things, I call it the fishbowl philosophy. And the fishbowl philosophy is, if you've ever been to a restaurant and you notice that they have a fishbowl sitting on the where you drop a business card in, so they can possibly give away once a week a free lunch or bring 3 or 4 people in for lunch. Every business that has a fishbowl could benefit from utilizing a mobile app.
Well, yeah, the whole purpose of putting the business cards in there to start with is they want to follow up with the people. But most of the businesses I've spoken with don't actually do anything with those business cards. So they're making the effort, but they're not seeing it through.
Right. So here, as a mobile app salesperson, one of the ways that you can start that conversation is if you walk in, you can go to the bar and you can do it like Shanda was talking about, and kind of sit down and order a snack and a drink and talk to them. And just because you're at the bar does not mean you have to order a drink. You can order iced tea. But if you walk in, if you see like they have a fishbowl there, they have some way of capturing business cards, that's the easiest conversation to start. Because you can actually start that conversation with the hostess and say, I noticed that you're collecting business cards. Let me ask you a question. And you'll find as we go through this, I'm really big on let me ask you a question. So you have this where you're capturing these business cards. What do you do with those business cards? And the fact is they know they're collecting them for a reason, but they don't really know why. And you can make that an easy transition into a conversation about how a mobile app can help them do that and how to capitalize on that. Because the real answer would be with those business cards is they should be collecting them, put them into a follow-up system so they can send messages out to them, so you can email them. But we know that email, even if you sign up for an email list and you want to get the information, or someone signs up for your email list and they want the information, they are the open rate, a great open rate. You know what this is, right?
I think it's maybe 10%.
10% is average, 20% is astronomical. Right. So that's a very low open rate. And one of the things that we know with push notifications, they get looked at within 90 seconds of being received.
They say compared to a 10 to 20% rate on email, push notifications or text messages, 93% get read in less than 10 minets. Right.
If you think about it, a lot of you watching this video have probably checked your phone while we've been talking to you.
Right.
And we're addicted to it, and it's instantaneous, and we look at it. We sit in a conference and something happens and we look at it, we're able to respond to it, and we know that it's much more effective. And that's the easiest foot in the door whenever you're talking to a restaurant, talking to anyone who has a fishbowl, is about what do you do with that? What if I was able to show you a way that you could send a notification to every person who's come to your business before, you were able to push that button, let them know of a special that you have. Do you think there's any chance that any of them would come back to your business? Now, what do you think that business owner is going to say? Of course, they're going to come from a position of pride. They think that every person that's ever come there would come back, and they're like, absolutely. So basically, you're providing them with a button they can push to create money. And whenever they push the button, it brings repeat customers back in the door. So is there any industries other than restaurants that have fish bowls?
Oh, I've seen them all over the place. I've seen them at golf courses, at spas, at auto detailing.
Right, the oil change place.
The oil change place, yeah.
Right,
and there's fish bowls everywhere.
And the thing is that, and I want you to think about this, is it's not just about where there's a visible fish bowl. Because there's a lot of businesses out there that actually have a fishbowl, but it happens to be, instead of looking like a fishbowl, it actually looks like a file cabinet full of folders that have colored tabs on them.
You mean like a doctor's office?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A doctor's office, a chiropractor's office,
Right.
the dentist's office. They have the, you walk in, you see the receptionist sitting at the desk. What's behind the receptionist? It's all these folders with multicolored tabs on them, and there's hundreds of them. Now imagine if they were able to send a notification out to be able to let them know of something that bring them back in the door.
Right.
You know, I mean, with a dentist, it doesn't have to, it could be, you know, we all know we should go to the dentist every 6 months.
Right.
And we get the little card that they give us, and if they're really sophisticated, they may have a system, but most dentists don't. Imagine if they had an app that they could once a month just send out a push notification to every person who'd ever come to their office with a reminder of a dental screening or teeth whitening or any type of treatment that they're able to provide that would be like the checkup or just the teeth cleaning even.
Right.
Because now, is everyone going to see that and take advantage of it immediately? No, but those who know it's been probably long enough time, they will do that. And that's the thing is all these things that we're talking about, those are the conversations that you can have with the business owner. Now, I'm going to share a little tip about dentists, if that's okay.
All right.
And I learned this because we do marketing for a lot of dentists. And the fact is, a lot of people are like, well, I can't ever get in to speak to the dentist. Here's the tip. The dentist is not the marketer. The dentist is not the one in charge of their marketing. You know who is?
The spouse?
The spouse.
That's what
I didn't
thought
say
you
the wife, I said the spouse, because I went to a female dentist for like 8 years, and it was her husband who was in charge of marketing.
Yeah.
And if you don't necessarily always have to speak to the doctor, or you want to speak to the person who's in charge of marketing, the person who's in charge of customer retention or customer acquisition, if you don't want to say marketing. And whenever you do that and you share these things with them, these simple little tips, you're going to find that they're going to be very receptive to you. Now, whenever you look at mobile apps, what do you think is the number one objection that someone watching this video may get from someone after they share with them this wonderful technology? They can do all these great things. What's the main objection you think they're going to find?
The only objection we've really come across, and this doesn't happen every time, but it's either it's too much, I can't afford it, or I can't afford it right now. So want me to wrap a couple objections?
Yeah,
up in
absolutely.
one?
That'd be great.
The other one is, we do have an ongoing chart fee of $99 a month, and some people have not liked that $99 a month fee. But a lot of times we found that they just haven't explained the value and how easy it is to get your money back on that investment.
Right. And so I think one of the things that I've found, and I sell online marketing at a high level with a lot of, with a very large price tag, much larger than a mobile app.
Yeah.
So, and the thing that I found is if they're having a price objection, it's that they don't quite see the value.
Right.
Because whenever you can show them the value of what this is going to do for them, unless they really just don't have the money, it's usually money isn't the objection, it's a value objection.
Right,
So
exactly.
helping them understand, and here's one of the things that I think this is one of the most powerful lessons I learned, is what most people do whenever they start doing this is they go in and they try to convince the person or tell them all the features of mobile apps. And it's really cool technology, and it's easy to get caught up in that trap. But by helping them see the value, the easiest way to do that is helping them paint a picture in their mind and asking them questions, because questions are the most powerful selling tool ever. So you ask them a question, and I'm going to role play with you just for a moment, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So let's say that we're going to do restaurant owner, so that's one of the things. And you have a restaurant, and you're very proud of your restaurant. Let's say, what's your favorite kind of restaurant?
Oh, let's go with Mexican food. It's what I eat most
Okay,
often.
Mexican food. You have a great Mexican restaurant. You're proud of your food. Your patrons love you. And you have a fishbowl.
Of course
Right?
I do.
Of course you have a fishbowl.
Of course.
Every Mexican
I'm
restaurant.
supposed to, right?
Every Mexican restaurant has a fishbowl. So I come in, I'm like, and we'll just say that your name is Shanda Niquitna. It's Shanda. And we go, Shanda, I notice you have a fishbowl here that you're collecting business cards. Tell me, what is it you do with those business cards?
Well, we draw a business card out every month, so we give away a prize.
Great. And so it's once a month?
Oh yeah, about once a month.
And then other than that, what do you do with the people who don't win the prize?
Well, one of our waiters, when he's not working waiting tables, he's been entering them into a spreadsheet so we can follow up with them.
Okay. And so how do you follow up with them from a spreadsheet?
Well, we were going to send out some emails, but we haven't actually done that yet. But we would like to send out some emails.
Okay. Well, that's a great plan. I mean, it's a good first step towards to doing that. Have you ever thought about having, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I told you I'd do that a lot. Let me ask you a question. If you had a way that you could simply type your message in to a computer and push a button, that every person who has come in here before was able to get a message, not in their email, but have it show up instantaneously on their smartphone, do you think there's a chance that any of them would come back in because you sent that out?
I hope they would.
All right, so let's say that what would you say, how many people do you have that you think come back repeatedly that are really fans of your Mexican restaurant?
And we do have a lot of people that come back quite a bit. I wish there was more, but we do have quite a bit.
So give me a number, just how many? 200, 1,000, how many do you think?
200. You know,
200
we're not
people?
that big of a restaurant, so I can say about 200 people that we see regularly, that we
Okay.
know names and faces.
All right, so if 200 people, if you were able to push a button and 200 people will receive that, do you think there's a chance they would come back in the door? How many do you think would come back?
That would be scary to think if they all came back on the same night.
Right.
Yeah.
Are there nights that are slower than other nights here?
Oh, yeah.
And so if you could push a button on a slow night, and let's say out of 200, let's say that 10 of them came in who hadn't planned on coming in, but 10 did come in, what would that do for you?
That'd make our night.
Would it?
Yeah.
So imagine that. Can you imagine pushing the button? Can you see that?
Yeah.
Now what I just did is I didn't say that's a great picture or that'll be great for your business. I said, what would that do? And by me asking her, what would that do for your business, she painted the picture in her own mind. And the power of that is the picture that we let them paint themselves is so much more powerful than anything. So imagine, we're going to push the button and 10 people are going to come in. That's going to be great for your business, isn't
You're
it?
just telling me something there.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm selling you.
Right.
I'm not, and the thing about selling is it's about letting them decide for themselves that this is something that they need to have. And when I say 10 people came in the door, you envisioned 10 people coming in the door.
I don't even own a Mexican restaurant, and I totally envisioned it.
Yeah, so it's about letting them paint the picture for themselves. Because if you've ever read a book and then gone and seen the movie,
Right.
the movie is never as good as the book. That's because no matter if it's Steven Spielberg, or whoever it is no matter what kind of great graphics they have or their insight, they can never paint the same picture as vividly as you do in your own mind. And the client also is going to paint a much more vivid picture of the benefit of this mobile app than you're able to try to implant into their brain.
Yeah.
So it's
Very
about
true.
asking them questions and what would that do for you. So with that in mind, when you look at that, then it's like, then asking them, okay, so if you were able to push the button, that's what we're talking about. When being able to do that, imagine having a mobile app that's branded with your restaurant, with Shanda's Mexican Restaurant. It has all of your graphics on there. Not only that, you can post your menu. Do you do much takeout orders?
Yeah, quite a bit.
So imagine
I'm still thinking I have a Mexican restaurant.
imagine having it so that the people that already know about you, if they want to order, they simply push a button and your phone rings.
Right.
If they need directions, no matter where they're at, it gives them the shortest route. You can push a button and the map gives them turn-by-turn directions to get there. So do you think if you had the ability for someone to push a button to call you immediately, would that increase the number of takeout orders you have?
I think that would be super powerful.
No, I didn't say, don't you think that would?
Right.
Do you think that would? And she still isn't in her mind is owning a Mexican
I know,
restaurant.
I can't get rid of it.
So, and
The power of visualization.
it is. It's visualization. It's helping, and you see that now.
I totally
So what's your
see it.
favorite item on your menu?
Combo number 2.
Combo number 2. So that's it. And the thing about this is we don't need to go through 17 examples.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing that we just did with this will work whether you're talking to a salon or a spa or a golf course or the oil change depot or the private school.
Right.
It's the same exact thing of asking them questions about how that would impact their business and would it be a benefit. Now, if she would have said, no, I don't really see how that would be a benefit, the other thing, she may have all that she can handle. And if that's the case, guess what? It's not a fit.
Right.
You move on. Don't get wrapped up in, I have the best solution for you, and if you don't take it, don't take it. The thing is don't take it personally. And one of the best examples of that I can give is if you've ever been to a restaurant, have the waitress come by and kept your glass full? And have you ever got to the point where you didn't want any more?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the waitress comes by and you go, would you like some more tea? And you go,
I'm good.
I'm good, no thank you. She doesn't go to the back room and cry. You just don't want any more tea. It's not you're not rejecting her. It's just not a fit for you right then. You've had all the tea. And if it's not a fit, you're not being rejected. It's just not a fit for them.
Right.
It's time to go find someone who is. Because one of the things that I've learned when it comes to sales is it's called the SW factor. Can I share that?
I am curious. Please do.
It's called SW, 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 SW. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting.
Yeah.
Always. And then the thing that goes next is next. So you went out and you talked about the first time you and Daniel went out and did this. You went to 8 restaurants?
Probably about 8, yeah.
And you sold every one of them, right?
Of course not.
How many did you sell?
I think in that day we did sell 4 apps.
4 apps.
Right.
All that day?
Yeah, a couple of them needed a little bit of follow-up, but from our efforts that one day did sell 4 apps.
Right. So did you cry about the 4 that said no?
Oh no, I haven't even thought about them.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing is, talk to people who want to talk to you. Talk to the people who are interested, and you will find your mobile app business growing by leaps and bounds.
Right.
And it's about getting up and going out, meeting people where they are, and talking to them. Going to restaurants, doing what Shanda did, going to networking events, taking the Sally presentation, and actually setting up your own event. Go through and find a place that you can invite 10 or 15 business owners in and demonstrate it for them all together. And then you're talking to 15 people at once instead of one at a time. So there's a number of ways of doing that so that you can become successful in your mobile app business. So if you're telling them right now, coming from the position of they're brand new at this, what is the number one piece of advice that you can give them after they shut this video down? What's the next step they should take to be successful?
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is to talk to people about it. Don't be afraid to approach them, ask questions, and it's not a fit for everybody, but you'll find out really quickly who it is a fit for. And those are the people that, they answer your questions and they're curious. And the more people you talk to, the more people you're going to find who would benefit from a mobile app.
Right. Now, take that advice. This is not someone who is guessing at what to do. This is someone who has been very successful at selling mobile apps, and someone that you're partnering with. And I have to say that you've picked the right team. You've picked a team that is set up to just skyrocket and to grow this business to immense proportions. You found their ad, you found this information, you found this. These things don't happen by accident. They happen for a reason.
Yeah.
You're in the best place possible to make the income that you need to change your life, actually. And it's an opportunity. It won't last forever, but it's going to last for a few years, that you'll be able to do this to set yourself up for where you want to be in life. And also, you'll be able to partner with IT Mentor Apps as they expand into bigger and better things and as they continue to grow their company. So Shanda, thank you so much for allowing me to have this chat with you.
Thank you, Jody.
And I hope you've gotten value from this at home. And I wish you the best in selling apps. I know you're going to go out there and do a great job.
Thanks.
Thank you.